What it do, everybody out there? What's up, Manny Cruz? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm happy to be here.
Dude, it's man. I know we got a lot to talk about today, man. Just a bunch of different stuff. This is gonna be actually you're the first guest that I want to do that we're doing this series with, and it's artist spotlight. And the reason I wanted to do this with you first is because one, you're just an incredible talent. You're somebody that I admire, somebody that I
Thank you.
respect. You're a singer, you're a songwriter, Spanish and English. That's a tough one because it's hard to write in Spanish, at least from my perspective. I can't, I wouldn't even try to write in Spanish just because it's a little bit difficult for me. But you know, you do it both. You're a producer. What don't you do? You can basically release you into the studio and you're gonna come out with a full blown project. And so that's who you are. On top of that, you're just you're you're just a great person, man. And we've known each other for quite some time now. I can tell you, I remember the first time that I heard you sing. It was one of our mutual friends that showed me your music. And actually, you sang. Actually, they had you sing over the phone. Now, I've heard your recordings, of course, but
Hmm.
I heard you over the phone for the first time, and I was floored
I
with
remember that.
your voice and with your skill. So I just want people to know who you are. If you know, I kind of like to tell people how they can find you on social media before we get started. That way, in case they want to go look you up while we're talking, they can do that. So if you don't mind, say hi to the people and tell them where they can find you.
Hello, my name is Emanuel Cruz. Everybody knows me as Manny Cruz, most of my folks. And I guess a way you can find me is Twitter, man. That's where I'm mostly vocal. Lately, I've been kind of there. So if you
Yeah.
want to talk to me, you want to reach out to me, you want to say something nice, something mean, get on there. It's at CRZ underscore NFT.
All right.
So, yeah.
Oh, NFT. You got the NFT attached to it.
Oh yeah, NFT because that's basically what got me into it. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been kind of social media shy,
Yeah.
but I'm excited. Number one about what's happening around in the verse, right? Both
Yeah.
real and the other internet. But I would say that I'm excited about what's happening here as well because there's a lot to talk about. There's definitely a lot
Yeah.
to talk about.
Well, the truest statement of the day is that for sure, man.
Oh yeah, there's so
Um,
much.
yeah. So I want to let's go back just a little bit because I want people to know who you are. Um, again, this is the artist spotlight. So this is our mesh artist spotlight, and
Okay.
I want people to have a little bit of a background. So you were born in Texas, correct?
Yes. So, first of all, John, thanks for having me. It's an honor. And all that nice stuff you said, man, it's coming from you. It means a lot. So, yes, I am from Texas. I was born in Parkland Memorial Hospital. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that.
Parkland.
Dallas folks probably are. But yes,
Yeah.
I was born in Dallas, and when I was very young, then moved to San Diego, where I was pretty much raised. But I pretty much I claim Texas, man. It's in my blood. I know.
Yeah.
I've always known I'm a little different. I wasn't like I don't know. You tell me. Have you noticed the difference? California versus Texas? That's a whole nother discussion, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically, yeah, I met John at a very young age. I want to
Oh,
talk a little bit about you, if you don't mind. From my perspective, growing up kind of in as a brown person, let's just say, a Mexican
right.
background, you kind of grow up in America gravitating towards one color or the other, right? And because that's mainly what you see. So I've seen the power of the mass. What happens when when what you see on TV mainly, right? So
Yeah.
again, when I heard your voice, I was like, "There's no way this man is singing Spanish. He has to be just he's probably some black dude that sings really good in Spanish, man." And I loved it, and I was like, "There's no way." When I saw you, it was inspiring to me to see somebody who sounded the way you did, and to me it was just like I've never seen anything like that. Like, to me, you were the first person. So really I got to meet my kind of like icon. To like, I don't know, back then to me you were famous. So when I got to meet you, mind you, when I got to go to Texas and you flew me out there to sing backgrounds for you, that experience around those people that you were around, I can see
Yeah,
why you're doing what you're doing right now. You've been
yeah,
surrounded by a lot of very powerful people in the arts.
yeah,
And so that's why I think it's exciting that you're doing what you're doing. People need to catch on, and they're about to catch on. I know it. It's prime
wow,
time, yeah. And you know what? You just got to keep going. It's gonna be tough. Trust me, man. I've restarted so many times. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about too. What happened? Like,
yeah,
why don't you? What happened, man? It's just sometimes to get it right, you
yeah,
gotta start over. You gotta
yeah,
start over. It's not the right people. It's not the right that. It's not the right music. It's not the right flow. And so I've been on a journey like you, John, just trying to refine myself, my ideas. And man, I love how you have literally influenced and impacted a generation. You have.
wow, man.
You have.
Wow, man. Well, this is supposed to be about you, Manny Cruz.
Hey, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes,
Man, I
it don't
appreciate it.
happen that way. But yes, man, I really do appreciate you having me here and give me the opportunity to kind of talk about your perspective because even here now we always want to have that person like John, man, tell me your input, man. What do you see? What have you learned?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Well, thank you, man. Thank you so much. That's like, I definitely take that to heart. I don't, man, I don't take any of my experiences. I don't take any of the people that I've met along the way. I don't take it for granted. I don't take you for granted. I don't take the experience that we had in music, even our, just our personal friendship. Like I don't take any of that for granted because I really feel like it's played a huge role in getting me where I am today. And I know, I'm still on my journey and I'm still moving forward and still growing, and I'm thankful for that every day. But yeah, it's cool, man, to be able to hear that the work, that, and this is for anybody, that the work that you've done, that it's impacted other people in a positive way. It's cool because typically you don't get to, people don't get to hear that sometimes. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to sit here with you and hear what you have to say, because that does bless me. It touches me, man. And I know
And
you do the same thing, though. I know you do the same thing. I know you impact people as well. I know you've been an impact for me. But yeah, man, thank you for saying that.
yes, and if I can kind of continue to say some things about that, um it's important to continue regardless of whether. I think that if you have something in you, there's so many benefits to it for yourself. Number one,
Yeah,
because I, by nature, I don't care. I'm gonna say it. I typically get lean towards getting mad first, right? If something doesn't work out, I get angry,
mm,
and so that might be to a degree a little bit worse for some, maybe a little bit less worse for others. But I have found music to be the perfect thing remedy for that type of thing. And love is pretty much the opposite of it, so it's kind of like in a way it turns into it. And so that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Music does different things in different platforms. Like if you're looking at it from how it impacts culture, the behavior of society, what is the norms, right? I believe that regardless of whether you're popular or not, you have an obligation to, number one, get it out for your sake, and number
yeah,
two, you never know who you might impact and who, like you might be like, dude, I connect, I understand, I
yeah,
know exactly what he's talking about. And so I feel like any artist out there, we have, the world has changed. Man, I've seen it change in a good way for everyone to basically have the opportunity to do something like that.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. So I know, Manny. I know you started. You started a lot of your music in California. I know you were born in Texas, but your music really started popping off, I want to say, in California. Um, from there, then I know you got into the military, and then you experienced that. So I want people to know who you are, but tell us about like what initially got you wanting to do music. What inspired you to do this in the first place?
I think I relate to it, right? Whether the lyrics were something that I felt like, yeah, man, I feel that way sometimes. Whether it was
Yeah.
good or bad, that's I could see why we all relate to things at certain times in our life,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest reason why I wanted to do it was because I wanted to find a way to influence the mass, to push people to believe in something that is maybe not just that there's power in things that maybe you don't see, right? And obviously we get religious about it, but
Yeah.
even in frequencies, right? If you come down to the science of it, the harmonies, right? There's certain vibrations that tend to, right? We can get into chakra if you believe in that
Right.
stuff, but you
Yeah.
feel, right? Have you ever watched a scary movie without the audio? It's not the same, right?
It's not
So
the same. Yeah.
so obviously there's something there that
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't completely um understood it yet, but I feel like we're all connected very much in that way because of those
Yeah.
waves, those frequencies, right? Those harmonies, those certain things that vibe with you and don't, right?
Yeah.
Even the phonetic way people speak, right? When they rap, when they rhyme, some people like the fast stuff, some people like the slow stuff. Look at
Yeah.
look at the rap that's going on right now, right? That's something that people probably back in the day wouldn't like, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just
Absolutely.
phonetically, it doesn't connect. The frequency is not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to do music like that. I want to do
Yeah.
music that connects people in a deep way where they feel it. Like if I'm sad and I'm crying and I'm angry inside, oh, I want you to feel
Yeah.
it, right? Because you might feel that way and it might be something that helps you get through your day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. I like totally I vibe with that for sure. For me, for me, like and talking about that, I've often wondered, and I think this is one of the questions, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. Just how does it affect? How does music affect people, and why does it affect people? What is the psychology of it? But what is it? And sometimes you can't explain it. Like sometimes a lot of times you can't explain it, in a church setting, for example. There's always music before the sermon goes up. Typically in your more charismatic churches, there's music that goes up, and typically, it's a worship that the preacher or the pastor wants you to uh, manipulate the atmosphere, is what you're doing with a song or with the melody. And to me, it's the lyrics combined with the melody, combined with the chord structure, the chord progression. It's all of that combined to now manipulate and maneuver the atmosphere of the room. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
in a club,
We
same
do the
thing in
same
a
thing in the club.
concert,
Same
same thing
thing.
everywhere. It's the same
Same
thing.
thing.
So, and like you said, it's funny because there's the TikTok videos now that will say like find the latest video you have of your pet and put this song to it, and it just changes the
Wow.
perception
Yeah,
of
it
what's
really does.
happening, right? So like
I
yeah,
love it.
like it's understanding as a creative, because it's
Okay.
not just in music. I think it's in the arts, collectively. It's understanding the power of your art and of what you're creating, and understanding who you really are as a creator of that art. Some people will say, well, um, I'm nothing without God. Okay, there's that person. Then there's the other person who says, I'm nothing if I'm not smoking weed. I can't be creative. Then there's that person. Then there's the other person who says, I have to be completely sober in order to be creative, because that's how my mind works. So everyone has their different
Everybody's done
sources
it
that they
different
pull
way.
from. Yeah,
They've done it different
different.
ways.
Yeah, and it's to me, it's understanding the power of who you are as a creative, because everybody doesn't have that power. What are your thoughts on like being responsible with that power?
Man, you're already saying all the words. Responsibility was the first thing that came to me. Like, if you have that power to sing your butt off,
Yeah.
I feel like you have a responsibility to do it, right? Now you have responsibility to do it responsibly, right? So
Mm,
now that is the whole, that's why music it encompasses so many different things, right? Because now
yeah.
we're getting into the elements of what is the messaging,
Yeah.
right? That's a whole nother thing. And so that's what I find interesting. And that's what really captures me is how are we putting good things in people's heads today?
Yeah.
Because we've seen what it's done for the last 30 years to people's heads, in a way.
Uh,
And
yeah.
although we have it's good and bad, right? Because we pretty much we're like pushing the boundaries, right, of music, and sometimes that's what it
Yeah.
requires. But I also think that in some way you kind of got to pull it back sometimes. Like, well, hold on, so, and you see it happening all the time right now. What are
Yeah.
people doing? It they're putting all that old school music right back into the loop. They taking that one funky loop from this and
Yeah.
that, switching it up. I don't
Yeah.
mind it if they're bringing the new generation to light about that good old stuff, man. I think
Yeah.
it's good. So
Yeah.
man, it's I think it's a responsibility for you to sing, for you to play, for you to, if you're good at numbers, if you're good at whatever your talent is, if you're good at art, if you're good at coding, programming, like you have an obligation to do it responsibly, right?
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I think failing and crashing is actually the best part of it. Learn to
Yeah.
embrace it, because you learn so much. You learn
Yeah.
so much, and if you're negative, you're gonna miss all of it. You're gonna miss the whole class. Like, man, you just went through a 6 class semester, man. You was asleep.
Yeah.
You didn't take notes. You didn't see what you did wrong, and A&R, after action review, right? That's one thing we talk about in the military. What did I
Yeah.
do right? What did I do wrong? And so I feel like for me, John, if I it wasn't meant for me to make music back then, it's meant for
Yeah.
me to make music now because of the culture that I have learned thanks to the
Yeah.
military, thanks to people like you, bro. It's the first time I ever went back to Dallas. I think was thanks to you. And when I went out there, I was like, oh man, it was. I never forget that Christmas too when we spent with your family,
Yeah.
bro. Y'all had man. That's a whole. We got to edit that part out, bro.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Nah,
That's
but
it, man.
man, it was a blessing. I remember everything. Even we went on that Corvette, was it, bro? We was, yeah.
No, don't
Bro,
tell.
you,
Don't say that. My dad don't
I'm
know.
saying too much. I didn't say how fast we went. I just went.
We did go fast. That was a Corvette Z06.
Oh man, yeah.
Man,
Was
that
it
thing was
blue?
fast.
Was it blue? I
Yeah, the
think I
blue
remember it
one.
was blue.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
it was the
beautiful.
blue one.
I never forget that, man. And so you've been an impact for me. And so I feel like
Uh,
because of you, I think I do a lot of things kind of like, man, I feel like people do me wrong, people do me wrong. But like, nah, there's people like John Montes, man. There's people who are actually believe in it. And I do believe in it. How is it that we can use what we have learned so that people don't make the same mistake? And that's why I think this mesh thing, bro, oh, we got stories. People don't know this. You didn't talk about it, but we were
yeah,
signed to a deal, man.
yeah,
We got robbed out of some money, but we can go into the
yeah,
weeds of it. I don't know if this is the
yeah.
platform for that,
We absolutely can.
but
Absolutely, man.
you
We
know,
should talk about that.
but that affected me in a way where it's like, you think I want to trust
Yeah,
record labels after that, especially as a, let me highlight this, Latino person, because it's totally
yeah,
different. They treat
yeah,
us like we're not Americans.
yeah, yeah,
We don't get the same treatment,
yeah,
and so that's a whole nother kind of we.
yeah.
Come on, man, people are tired of that stuff, but yeah.
No, I think you're right because I think, man, there's so much to unpack and all of that. Let's
I
get,
mean, you tell me, John. I mean, come on.
yeah,
John, that was crazy, right?
yeah,
We dedicated a good amount of
yeah,
our good time, right? That was like prime
yeah.
time me, 20, 21, 19 years old, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I
And we
mean,
got into a deal. Let's tell them because I want them to know the background for this because I think people need to be privy to it to again make better decisions. So
mhm.
we had gotten into a production deal with a certain individual here in California, and I got into that situation first based off of a song that he wanted me to demo, so I demoed it, and then he was like, "Yeah, I want to work with you. Sign me on to a production deal." And then it went from that to he wanted to create a group, and so then it was me. Like he went through all these different changes. The end of the group ended up being myself and you and another guy, Albert. Um, Albert, what's up? A shout out to you, man. But
Albert,
um, yeah, man. Um,
miss you, man.
but we had gotten into this deal, and I don't know because I think we were all in our own, headspace at this time. But Manny, I don't know if you remember this part of it that I had recorded the song, this particular song called "Fallen," and that particular song is what got us. We ended up
Yeah,
getting two record deals from this. One I got it as a solo act, the other one was the group, and off the same song. So this guy's already being shady, and I'm not. I'm kind of new into this part of it as well. I don't really understand what's going on, But I see what's happening. I end up seeing what's happening at the end of it. We had basically, he got two different checks from two different record labels for the same song. And now how's he going to fulfill this? Because I can be a solo artist and I can be in a group, but not the same song. It can't be the same song. You can't sell the same song to two different record companies. And that's what ended up happening. So we got into this situation. We were there for, I don't even know how long we were there for, recording this project. And we did. We put our time into it. We put our effort into it,
Several years. It was like we were
bro.
doing several projects. We did a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. We did a lot
And
of
the,
submissions for a lot of known. I don't want to name drop, but known
yeah,
people.
don't have to. Yeah. Yeah. And we were in that situation for quite some time. You know, again, this is our time. And there's a lot of other details in there that we could talk about, but just for the sake of time, you know, I don't want to really dive into it that heavy. But it ends up being that the whole thing is destroyed because of this individual's ego, because of his stupidity. Um, I mean, I remember me, you remember this, like this is how volatile it was at the time. I go and my dad calls me about my grandfather. You know, he's on his deathbed basically, and saying that if you want to spend the last days with your grandfather, you need to come home. You guys have to understand, my grandfather was like my hero, like he absolutely was. So to get that phone call, there's no question in my mind, I'm going home. And I remember calling, and I think you might have been on that phone call, Manny. But he tells me that if I'm gonna go home to go be with my grandfather, then not to bother coming back. And to me, I was like, okay, you got a garbage heart, and I'm not choosing this over my grandfather, bro. Like that'll never happen. So I left, and then the group was left to carry
Rearranged.
on after that. But it was just a very bad person to be dealing with, bad situation. But when you're in it, you don't really see all the junk. You don't see all the mess because you're so focused on trying to be successful that you're not looking at all the obvious signs that are telling you get away from this situation. So what did you learn from that at this
Oh,
point?
you're going in, bro. You told me you don't want to get into the details, but you went in. That's funny, man. So look, again, why do we say look, people say things, right? Like it's funny.
Yeah,
You learn later on why those things what they mean. You have a responsibility to do your talent, whatever it is. He was a songwriter, but to do
yeah,
it, what did we say? Responsibly.
yeah,
Because he definitely got he saw two opportunities from one
yeah,
opportunity, but he did it on the backs of people. And that is actually kind of why we have to be who we are as well. Because
yeah,
when those people do what they do, we have to keep honest people honest. And
yeah,
so this Mesh podcast, I love the whole idea behind linking people with vetted connections, right? That
yeah,
have a tenure, right, or a track record. Because I've seen, bro, my experience is bad till right now it's
yeah,
bad. And especially if you look like me, it's bad. Good
yeah,
luck, right? There's
yeah,
not really people who represent us, hence why I was like John Montes, yeah, we got one, right?
yeah,
And so I have a certain way, I feel a certain way, as you can see, but I feel like I have a responsibility to educate people
yeah,
about it. Hey, okay, now we have the platform to do it, to say it. We don't need to be financed really that much. It's just going to take a lot
yeah,
of hard work and getting that network to people. That's
yeah,
why I like the NFT communities, because they do things like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
They
yeah.
do. They're gonna.
Okay,
That's the future, man.
yeah. Let's
Yep.
switch gears here for a little bit. Let's talk about the NFT concept. How do you see that playing into? I mean, I know it is art in and of itself already,
Mhm.
but how do you see that playing into the music industry or the
I've been
creative
more.
industry, really?
I think it's going to play into the creative industry big time because of the royalties, right? The IP rights. And you know about royalties, right? Now
Yeah,
your art, basically, if somebody else uses it, you're going to get a percentage of. So that is business wise, it makes sense for you to
yeah,
invest into these types of projects, especially if they have those type of amenities available. Now, another thing is, this is why I don't get pumped up about projects that are like other places.
Hmm.
I'm all about, helping the community that I feel like you have to take advantage of the communities. You have to be close to them, right? You have to be able to benefit from them. So
Yeah.
one of the projects I'm involved is in Puerto Rico. So I'm there pretty much like half the year, every year, all the time. I pretty much live there part time. And
Yeah.
so I like the fact that not only I don't believe in tattoos. I wanted to get one. I was in the military, and
Yeah.
people in the military, they're tatted up. Like, as you can see, I was in the military. I didn't get no tattoos because my beliefs are strong about tattoo. So I went and I bought one. I have a collectible item. This is only one out of like 1,000 or 2,000. I don't remember the exact number, but this is something I paid for. And guess what? People eventually, when they get cooler and different, they're gonna want it. And that's how basically
Yeah.
you're like a show. You're a shareholder. That's how it works.
Mm.
But you want to make sure that you are able to take advantage of what the good things that they do, right? So some people
Yeah.
do mental health, right? I really like getting involved in projects that help people because I have a brother who has he suffers from some mental health stuff,
Yeah.
and so they all do different things. It could be maybe something to help people who like cycling, right, or people who have different, or veterans, right, or who want to clean up the beaches in Puerto Rico, like this one,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
fix some of the problems that we have there, right? Hopefully we can use some of those funds to actually do some good.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. Um, I know you just recorded a song. You're always recording. Uh, tell everybody where they can find your music.
Okay, so look, I knew I should have looked this up. But my name is Emanuel Cruz, and I think it's oficial. So you're gonna have to spell like in Spanish. And
Okay.
but
Emanuel Cruz Oficial.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look on my phone actually. Let me just look it up here.
All right. Is
But
that your Instagram as well? Oh no, you said your Instagram was something else.
this is my Instagram here. Hold on, I'm looking at it right now. Oh Jesus. So yeah, Emanuel Cruz Music. So
All
EMANUEL
right.
CRUZMUSIC.
I normally would like to play a clip here, but what happens is when we upload this to YouTube, then the whole copyright thing comes in, and I have to take it off because it won't let me do too much with this. So just to not make it an issue, y'all are gonna have to go look for it on YouTube. Look him up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you can
And I,
get.
mm-hmm, I got you.
Yeah,
Yep. Look me up. Just look up
it's all up on there.
Emmanuel Cruz, and
Emanuel
I
Cruz.
have a lot of stuff on. I mean, I've started over so many times. That's one of the things that I'm telling you, man. And
Yeah,
but I'm happy where I'm at now. I feel like I finally discovered my sound and exactly what I want to say and how I want to say it. So
yeah.
I think for me, this is exactly the time that I needed to start. And I'm excited about working with you. Hopefully, we get to do some stuff too,
Man,
man.
I know we've been talking about it. This last song, the oh gosh, it's already out. You already put it out, right? The one you sent me.
There's one that I sent you that hasn't, but I kind of knew you wanted to show it, so I'm cool, man. This is exclusive right here.
I can't
But I
show
really,
it, man.
I really like it. I really do like it because I haven't put it on iTunes yet, but I could do it. Like I could do it right now. I could do it right now. I
Uh,
ain't even tripping.
yo, what do you hear when you hear that?
I hear John. I hear you, man. I hear you influencing a
No, man.
generation of people. What? Why? What do you hear?
Oh, dude, God. I love it, man. I'm telling you, I know I already told you this, but I put this song on. I'm not kidding, man. I've heard it. I need you to send me the lyric sheet at this point because I need to be
I
able to
got
sing
him.
along with you,
Actually, I was looking at them right now, just trying to get you the file.
dude. It's incredible. Like you've changed you've definitely changed. I
The
can
whole
hear the
thing,
development. Yeah,
the
I can hear the
vernacular, the whole
development. Yeah,
thing, man. You had to
yeah,
learn something different. You had to get out of your pod to learn some things, and
yeah.
so I am ready to kind of talk to some people and do
Yeah,
it in a way with music where it's art, right?
yeah,
I think that's what I learned from you, man. You did
yeah,
something bold to me, and mind you, I don't think people get enough credit to what you were involved in, man. That was some pretty skillful things, I have to say, for at a music level, right? Because you got to remember, it's not that easy. We do this on the daily. I got the lyrics right here. Yeah.
Yeah, man, send them to me, please. But yeah, man, it's wow. Like I listened to it. Your voice. Um, you're just very skillful.
So
I
yeah,
don't know
man,
how else to say it.
I want to be able to, it's not for everyone. Let's be honest. It's Spanish
Yeah,
and English, so it's kind of like, dang, I'm only getting half the goods, right?
yeah,
But I've realized that through this discovery in life and music, I think that I've discovered who I am, and I've learned to embrace, man. I am Spanglish, man. I mix it up. There are some things that are
yeah,
better said in English, and some things that are better said in Spanish. And so
yeah,
now I think people can relate and say, yeah, 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 it's true. Because
yeah,
when you feel a certain way, especially an emotion or like a love, un cariño, it's one thing to say I love you, and another thing to say te amo. Te
yeah,
amo is a state of being. It's not something that you're telling somebody, oh yeah, I love you. I'm in a condition of love, right? And so when you get to the weeds of this, right, linguistic,
yeah,
I want to talk about this too, man. My mom impacted me a lot like you did, but she was more into the poetry of things, right? So she was very into, I
yeah.
remember how she would cry. She would make people cry. She would be up there and she would kind of do like a spoken word of her own poems that she would write in church. You know how every
Wow.
Sunday everybody had to do their special.
Yeah,
My mom would do her special. And all the sisters be like crying, and I
yeah,
always remember how I would feel it too. Like,
yeah,
so yeah, man. Sometimes it's about, I say that, man. I might not be the best singer, man, but I know some people that got soul, man. That just got, you feel it. I feel it, man. When you said that, I
yeah,
felt it. I don't know if you hear the lyrics, man.
yeah.
There's a lot of
I
good and
do.
there's a lot of good and bad and ugly in there, like,
Yeah,
hey, man, even though you said I wasn't, yeah,
yeah,
I still want to see
yeah,
you, you know.
yeah,
Look at me
yeah,
now. Look at me now.
yeah. That's a powerful statement too, man.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading the other day. This is of course going on the scripture a part of it, but how it's in God's plan, man, for you to have a seat at the table in front of your enemies. Like it's a must, and it's his will that it happens that way. So that's why for me it's like that's why you don't have to seek out uh revenge. You don't have to do it because your life is revenge enough. Your life is going to be revenge if you allow it to be, if you allow yourself to live in that space of, I'm going to let go of all the anger. I'm going to let go of all that anxiety that comes with that. I'm going to let go of all the attachments, all the ideology that I have towards this person or towards this individual or towards this thing that happened. I'm going to let it go because if I don't, then I don't get to sit at the table. And I need to be able to sit at the table in order for that to have. That's why God says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, because he's already set. That's already set in motion. When somebody comes at you or says something to you, or there's a situation, it doesn't even have to be a person, but there's a situation that is set against you. When you attach yourself to that and won't let it go, then that is your revenge. And there's no revenge bigger and better than your life being such a success that everybody is watching you eat at the table. You understand?
But you gotta be able to sit at the table, which means that you're gonna hear some pretty stuff, and you hear some mean stuff, and you're gonna hear some
Yeah.
all in between. But you
Yeah,
gotta be
man.
able, and you know what? I think that is one of the biggest problems we have in our society. We used to be
Oh
able
yeah.
to all sit at the table and
Yeah.
have a conversation or have a music about
Yeah.
this or talk about that. But
Yeah.
we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like you have a responsibility as an artist, whether you
Yeah.
draw or whether you sing or whether you play, to
Yeah.
to be that voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's
like what you
important,
said,
man.
man. Man, you
It's
always.
important, man. For us to be responsible artists, like we have to be. There's a certain responsibility that we have to take with our creativity. Because it's just the same. And if you're a doctor, you expect your physician to be a responsible physician. You don't expect him or her to be shady and doing stuff under the table, and like you don't expect that. You're expecting them to be responsible with their gift, with what they have. Same with and every sector, there's a responsibility. But with us creatives, the thing with us is that we get into people's lives, into people's hearts, into people's minds. Our message is penetrating literally the culture, and it sets the tone for our culture, and it sets the pace for what people think, for what people say. And if we're all talking about fighting, and I hate you, and all this, then this is what we're feeding the culture. And at the point where we start talking about peace and love and really talk, really sing about it, really put art out there, then this is what we're feeding the culture. So really, if you look at it, our culture is a direct reflection of what we as creatives are feeding it, and we need to take a good hard look at that.
I'm glad you said all this, John. I'm glad that you said that because that is something that I was thinking about, and you articulated that so well, man. I love the way that you just, man, bro. My wife was actually, give credit to you, man. Pat on the back, dude. She was like, man, John, sometimes he gives you like these tidbits, man, where he talks to you, and like I'm just living it right now. I'm like, yo, this is what Jim was talking about, and it's, bro. You have, I mean, a way of presenting these ideas. That's why I feel like I do it better. I do it better in music, and I feel like you've always been that person that can, after you just kill that song, "Wah," you sit down, you talk to people. You like, you really get into the weeds, like, man, who are you? What's up? Where you? And I think that's the Texas thing. I don't know. You
Yeah,
tell me,
yeah.
but
That's so
I
true.
feel it. I feel like I have
Yeah,
that, dude. I've tried
yeah,
to help people, man, and it's,
yeah,
I don't know if people realize that when you get help, the person that helping you, they're it costing them too.
yeah,
It's costing them
yeah,
something.
yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Good grief, man.
I'll leave it at that.
That's real.
Record
Yeah, no,
label and
that's
all.
real.
Record
Yeah.
labels and all. But I don't know if you wanted to go back to that, but man, that, had it not been for that, I think, look look, man, the fire that it lit in you to
Yeah,
do what you are doing right now. I
yeah,
strongly believe that the path that you set after that, I
yeah,
mean, I was a part of it. I got to see a little bit of that too. I learned from that
yeah,
too. And it
yeah,
wasn't a great success for me, like per se, because I didn't really get to take full advantage of it. But man, the time is right. The time is
yeah,
right, man. The internet, the power that we're getting now with all the cool instruments, with all the
yeah,
social media platforms. Come on, the way we can
yeah,
network. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I am,
yeah, man.
as you
Me
can tell.
too. Me too, man. I know. There's so much ahead, man, and it is exciting. It's a great time. Coming out of COVID for all of us, I think it gave us all a reset button, and I just felt like coming out of it, man, is like this is the time that you get to decide what you want to do because you can change. You can change it. If you didn't like what you were doing before, this is the time to change it, and this is the time to do something different. Don't complain because you can't, because we all kind of everybody's building just kind of got crumbled down to the floor, and now we all get to rebuild. So rebuild what you want to rebuild,
Rebuild,
and if you go
yes.
back to the same, then that's on you, because this is the time to change, man. And yeah, I'm
I
excited
feel
about it.
like you're preaching to me, man. You give me the sermon right here in front of, like, for everybody to see, man, because it really has, what everything you're saying is absolutely true. The COVID
Yeah,
thing actually brought me back to music. I wanted nothing to do with
yeah,
it. I was very kind of like, man, why didn't it go right? Why
yeah,
didn't it this go right or that? But it was just not the time. I needed to step out of it to kind of get new perspective. And like you said, I kind of had to
exactly.
let it die.
Yeah,
And then when I came back to it, oh my gosh, man, I haven't stopped.
it's
I haven't
different.
stopped.
Yeah,
But had it not been for bad situations, sometimes you gotta, that's why you have a responsibility, because somebody else might get motivated by the, or somebody might have a similar story, right? We hear them
yeah,
all the time. Like, man, I
yeah,
was the same way. COVID hit. I was like, man, I got to hustling. That's what I
yeah,
did. That's what
yeah.
really what I did.
Wow, man. Oh, well, Mandy, tell me that you will come along and do this again. I would love to have you on again,
Tell me
bro.
that
We
you're
got to
gonna
do
invite
this.
me, man. I don't know how good
Yeah,
I did, but I can't help but be myself. That's one of the things I said,
yeah,
that I hope that I'm somebody that can provide some insight, hopefully help you in any which way I can. And number one, man, just tell the whole world, bro, how grateful I am to have somebody like you, and that, and hopefully, if I did have something to say, tell people, man, you have an obligation to do it, man. Get your creative
Uh,
ideas out there for yourself and for others.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I'm thankful, man. I'm thankful for you. I've said that to you a million times, and I'll say it again. And I definitely don't mind saying it in front of other people. I'm very grateful for you. I'm grateful for you as a person, uh, and I'm also grateful for your talents, for your gifts, what you contribute to this world. And I can't wait, man, for people to hear more and more and more and more of you. So I want you guys to make sure that you get to wherever you can get Manny's music. Again, it's Emanuel Cruz Oficial.
Yeah,
So yeah, just look him up there. He's got some songs already online, but he's going to be uploading some more. Make sure you
yeah.
check out this song, Te Quiero Ver. It's a great song. Support it, support him. And yeah, if you guys want to know more about what we're doing, you can reach out to us at www.themeshcollective.com. Just look us up there. And of course, all of our social media handles are Mesh CLC TV. So MESH CLC TV. You guys can look us up there. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining us. And until next time, right?